Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to the Las Vegas Strip Circuit in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, for another edition of the Monkey Mafia Esports Series here under the night sky in the desert on one of the most famous stretches of land in the world. But first, let's take you through the starting grid. It is Granny on pole in the Aston Martin by about 0.3 of a second over Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca looked like he was on a good final lap, couldn't quite pull it together at the end. Cam Dizzle will start third, fourth will be DWCJ, fifth Charlie Golf, 16th Taylor McKenzie, 16th. Sixth will be Taylor McKenzie, seventh will be King Pro Player, eighth Lancy, ninth is El Capitan, that's the end of the second barrier there. Anime Boy, 10th, 11th is Slayer Eyes, 13th. 12th is JC Auto Labs, 13th Jacob, 14th is Gab, 15th Valentine, 16th Gatillo, 17th Frenchie, 18th Gazboy, and rounding out the back end of the grid is actually Reimer, who appears like as if he's only got one timed attempt in. And whatever it was not good. It's 7 seconds off the pace. I have a feeling something has gone happening with Reimer. I don't know what it is, but what I can tell you with Reimer is this. He is currently leading the driver standings after Spain, 132 to Ronnie's 97. Ayahuasca 90, King Pro 85, Granny 68, Lancy 66, Cam Tizzle 64, Caesar Slayer as Charlie Golf, and Gab round up the top 11 there. As far as the constructors are concerned, McLaren at 180, V-Carb 147, Alpine and Mercedes tied at 115 apiece. Haas in fifth at 110, Aston Martin 104, Williams ahead of Sauber and Red Bull by 1.71 to 70 and 70, and then it's Ferrari rounding out the grid in 10th. And this is the fifth round of the season. Of course, we'll be back again next week when we head to Qatar for what should be a fantastic sixth round of the season. Reimer, so far this season, is 4 for 4. He's actually also done 5 out of the last 6 in all Monkey Mafia F1 competition. But he's got a hell of a way to climb tonight. Back of the grid starting for him. It's not going to be easy. DRS is going to play a huge factor. Top speeds are going to be probably the most here, but these drivers will have to keep themselves calm and collected, because if not, there is danger lurking on this track. It's very simple in design, but in practice, it can actually be slightly difficult. Some of these braking zones are tricky, especially the sphere braking zone. That being turn 7 and 8 there, that sphere corner, about to go down to Sands Avenue, and then that turn 12 at the Win and into Treasure Island as well. That's a quite a difficult braking zone as well, because it kind of goes more to the outside. Clear skies, quality, and rain, and that's interesting. It's interesting. You would tell me, you would probably, thank you for DWCJ for putting that in, but you'd probably say to myself, Hotspot, well, why would you think about rain potentially in Vegas? Well, I'll tell you why. One of the only races I competed in Monkey Mafia Esports, it was full wets in the race. Actual full wets in the race session. I actually crashed under safety car because I had lost a bit of the front wing. I was trying to limp it back home to the pits and had binned it going at Caesars Forum. It was not a very good race for me. And let me tell you this as well. It's definitely possible. It's entirely possible that there's going to be rain here. But it's not going to happen tonight. That's what DWCJ has told us, as we are just about ready to go for the 5th time this season. Should be a great race. And here we go. The lights are turning on. 3, 4, and eventually 5, as this grid looks to gamble it all under this night sky in Las Vegas as Granny gets a good start. He's cleared Ayahuasca as well. The Sauber of Gatillo is actually spun round at the line as they make their way through the first couple of corners. Granny has a good lead. DWCJ to the inside of Ayahuasca as they exit and head down Koval Lane, heading towards Caesars Forum, the right-hander at turn 5. There they go. Charlie Golf is going to try to have a peek at the left side. It's not quite going to happen. And as they make their way towards the Sphere, which is officially licensed as a couple of things are here now, but less of that. This is a very tricky braking zone, because it's on kind of the edge of the corner. You have to really slice it down, and it is very tricky, a corner to get right. And we do often see some drivers make mistakes there as Capitan's gone round, and I'm not really sure what the difficulty there has been. But as they go down Sands Avenue and head towards Treasure Island, turn 12, and then down the strip, 11 to 17, that is the pit window for medium to hard. Through the left-hander, Granny leads. No DRS on this first lap. They will get it next time by. As Cam Tizzle about 4.5 tenths away. Lancey in his Red Bull about 1.5 behind Charlie Golf as they go past Caesar's Palace and now past the Horseshoe as well. To the inside, looking the Red Bull. I tell you what, he could get the Haas of Taylor McKenzie as well. Charlie Golf's going to try it on the outside, and they kind of back off by the time they get to Planet Hollywood. Oh, and it's a stack up there, and both the Sauber and the Haas have gone round. And I'm afraid they've tried to go 2 into 1. I'm not actually sure why that happened there. I think maybe was it the car on the inside clipped the wall and had gone round. That is a really, really interesting incident to happen. Very much out of the blue. And now here we go, second lap of the Grand Prix. Looks as if for the time being, Granny will be unchallenged. Heading towards Caesars Forum, turn 5 and up through the sphere. Lancey 2.5 tenths of a second behind Anime Boy. Potentially a little bit of contact there with the Williams. King Pro player is going to go round the outside of the Red Bull. Bit of contact there as well. The Dutchman has dived his way back into that position. As we'll have a look at the tires quickly. As Lancey, I believe, will be trying to give that spot back and does. Potentially has heard me there. Only 4 drivers have gone hard on this occasion. Ayahuasca, Reimer, JC Autolabs, and Capitan. Everybody else has gone medium except for Lancey and now Gazboy, who have gone soft. Top 2 have stayed the same. Potentially, will that change now with DRS? Of course, the DRS has been shortened this year. It used to be coming right out of that Treasure Island corner, the left-hander before the strip. It's actually been shortened quite significantly now. King Pro player going to get round Anime Boy then, and it looks as if, potentially could we see another one a little bit further back. Gab's going to get down to the inside of Frenchie. That will have been rather simple then as they make their way through Top Golf and then down the pit straight now, heading in towards the Harbor Island Apartments first corner. Granny will lead. A little bit of a slow go through that first corner, through turn 2 and down Koval Lane. Only leads Ayahuasca by 4.5 tenths of a second. DWCJ trying to get in on this battle as well. No guarantee. We do have a good couple of cars here. Reimer's up 9 positions since the start, and I think just staying out of trouble has done him well. 7 positions gained for Valentine. He's up to 8th as Taylor McKenzie now trying to pressure both the Williams, who's going to look for the outside of Reimer. Going into Caesars Forum, and he's done that. Reimer, oh, that was a big wiggle there, exiting the corner. And as they go through the sphere, it looks as if Reimer's going to keep the position for now. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some drivers lose the cart through that section. It's a difficult braking zone. And of course, this being a street circuit, there's not much grip as it is. Into turn 12. Through Treasure Island they go. And down the strip. And DWCJ's gotten quite wiggly. Coming on acceleration there is Cam Tizzle. Is going to absolutely have a look at him now as they go past Caesar's Palace and the Hard Rock. And it looks as if Ayahuasca's, I don't think, going to be close enough this time. 4 tenths of a second. He's not using Energy Store either. That tells me he's not really looking for it quite yet. Through Planet Hollywood they go. Ayahuasca's actually gone a little bit deep through that corner, and I think that might hurt him here. TWCJ's gained a little bit of time. We got about a 4-car overtake happening now. Slayerized and Valentine swapping positions, as well as, I believe that was Taylor McKenzie and Jacob as well. Slayerized is going to give that position back as Jacob following in the footsteps of Taylor McKenzie here. Reimer's actually lost 2 spots in the proceedings. Not rightly sure how that's happened. I'm afraid I've missed it, but either way. Down Koval Lane now, heading towards turn 5. King Pro player on the outside looking in at this battle as Slayerized will get to the inside of Taylor McKenzie and now has his sights set on Valentine in the 8th spot. Top 4 cars separated by less than a second now as they make their way towards Sands Avenue. Ayahuasca right up the back end of Granny. Pause as now they make their way. And last time, remember, DWCJ got very loose coming out of that corner, out of Treasure Island. So let's see how he handles this one. Again, it's this run out of this 12th corner that really determines if you're going to have enough of an opportunity to get up to the drivers ahead of you. You could assume that DRS towards the midway of the straight will help you a lot, and it will, but if you leave yourself in a bad position, like Cam Tizzle is not going to be able to capitalize here. He is only just 6/10 of a second away, but I mean, that is ridiculous as the top 3, for the time being, kind of in a pace of their own right now. DWCJ has a quick look to the inside. Nothing really there. Ayahuasca, again, tries a bit of a wider line through Planet Hollywood and down Harmon Avenue now. Slayer Eyes is going to get around the outside of Valentine. So is Taylor McKenzie. Reimer under pressure from the Williams of Jacob, and it looks as if that one's going to be okay. Reimer still stays 11th. He's gotten the spot back. As the top three again through that first corner, Cam Tizzle trying, I'd say actually almost struggling to hold on to the top three here. Ayahuasca on the hard tires is holding together some good pace. He's not actually being really thrown out then by the medium tire runners around him. And Lancey, 5 laps in now, is not improving to have made the soft tires look like a good strategy to be on. As they go through the sphere, Granny, Ayahuasca, DWCJ, and Cam Tizzle after that. Bit of a slide there for Ayahuasca. He's caught it. But on my screen, that seriously looked like that car was angled towards the wall. Jacob and Reimer, side by side now through the sphere. That's a car that's gone around. Slayer Eyes has gotten out of shape. I think Valentine has as well. Slayer Eyes and Valentine losing a good couple of spots there. Reimer back up to 9th. And now has his sights set on the Haas of Taylor McKenzie, but that was a weird incident that. Had about 3 cars side by side going through, exiting the sphere corners. And so now DWCJ is going to have a look. Ayahuasca chooses the inside. Granny stays high. And I think that's more or less. Well, he's been able to keep that position. I thought Ayahuasca was going to be a little more gutsy going for the inside there. That's not the case, as Cam Tizzle has firmly put himself in this battle to the inside now. DWCJ as they go through Topgolf and down to the pit straight. And it looks as if no position is going to change for now. As though to the inside, DWCJ had a bit of a look there. Cam Tizzle now to the inside. He's got to wheel in on the McLaren then. Side by side they go as they make their way down Koval Lane, and Cam Tizzle's going to get that one. Well, I say that. They are side by side. DRS activated for the both of them. Cam Tizzle, I think, had it a little bit easier there and does get around the McLaren. Lancey's gotten around. Anime Boy has about 2 seconds behind a King Pro player. As we look now, Taylor McKenzie's going to go for the inside of Reimer as they make their way into turn 5. And it looks as if, bit of contact there. And Taylor McKenzie, Reimer's gone straight on, hasn't he? Yes. Reimer's gone straight on after the contact with the Haas, and he's going to drop to 15th. What a struggle for Reimer here, looking to go 5 for 5 to start the season. For the time being, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Of course, never count him out, but still, you have to think that it's going very, very wrong. Down the strip they go. Cam Tizzle, 2.5, 3/10 behind Ayahuasca. Is Ayahuasca not really in position to overtake Granny this time. I think he's a little bit less daring on this occasion. Got no real looks for anybody amongst the top 4. Lancey's actually taken about half a second off of his deficit to King Pro player. Gab has gotten around Taylor McKenzie. Anime Boy is about 4/10 back to Lancey, as we do have, who's that's gone round? That is the Sauber of Gatillo off at the sphere corner, and he's not really regained his composure yet as the sphere itself is staring into his soul. Down Koval Lane now. Ayahuasca, I think, knows that this is not going to be his opportunity into this 5th corner. It's very similar to Singapore, really. You got these DRS sections into really tight corners with no runoff. Baku, for that matter, as well. It makes you really not want to try moves into corners like that. If you make a mistake, it's Jover for you, really. As heading down Sands Avenue now, as Ayahuasca still all over the back end of Granny as they make their way towards Treasure Island turn 12, and I'm really starting to think Ayahuasca could have him this time by. It would appear that so far the hards are starting to come alive now. I would still think, I don't know if that was contact or error from the Aston Martin, but Granny has gone sideways and I think is held up. Cam Tizzle behind him as DWCJ to the inside is going to get both of them. They are synchronized going down the strip now. Cam Tizzle watches on and hopes for disaster as Ayahuasca still around the outside. DWCJ, out of all of that, will actually not have DRS. How has that happened to leave DWCJ out by surprise? And Granny, after it's all said and done, gets that top spot back. And Cam Tizzle is the only one out of all those 3 cars side by side with each other to actually make a move in the forward direction. Wow, and I tell you what, again, was it contact from Ayahuasca to Granny getting onto the strip there? It didn't quite initially look like it. It was definitely incidental. Maybe was Ayahuasca a little bit late on the brakes? Did Granny spin the tires getting on acceleration? I mean, there's not really a correct answer, but at least for the time being, there's not a wrong answer either, because the top 4 have, for the most part, stayed the same. Nobody has damage, and we can continue on racing. As they make their way on Sands Avenue once again, and, where mistakes happen, they do begin to snowball into each other. Of course, the best drivers don't have that happen. But let's see if it happens now as they make their way in towards Treasure Island, turn 12. And no, for the time being, doesn't appear that's going to be the case. So whatever errors or incidents happen then have sorted themselves out. But Ayahuasca, I think, is going to have a great run on Granny here. Even without DRS, he's been able to take his line around the outside. Going the high line here is Ayahuasca. That's a bit fitting, isn't it? And he will clear the Aston Martin by the time they even get into the braking zone for Planet Hollywood. DWCJ was unable to attack Cam Tizzle that time. Meanwhile, in the battling, King Pro players actually gotten about a second back over the top 4. Anime Boy has re-overtaken Lancey and is not really gaining time to King Pro either. Reimer has a look to the inside of JC Auto Labs. He's not going to commit to the move. I think there's still a lot of race left. Although I say that, there's only 15 laps to go next time by. Jacob now trying to have a look on both Gab and Taylor McKenzie through the first couple of corners. I don't quite think he's in a good position. Oh, JC has gone really dived into the corner. Capitan trying to bounce back, but it's very difficult now. JC's going to float a little bit high, and down Koval Lane they go. DRS activated, and El Capitan to the inside, and he's going to get the move on the Alpine as well as Reimer. Could Reimer get both of them? He's pulling some good pace. No, he's going to back off there as Capitan goes a little bit too much over the inside curb through turn 5 and picks up the first and only so far 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings of track limits. Well, JC Auto Labs there, I think, has had some sort of a go through the sphere. He's lost a bit of the front wing. Not ideal by any means. As the top 4 make their way down the strip again, Ayahuasca's got about a 7/10 of a second advantage on Granny. It looks as if Cam Tizzle is probably, at least for the time being, I would say, maybe the quickest of the... Well, I say that, but Ayahuasca's just gone the entirety of the strip, has not lost any time, even without DRS. I mean, I tell you what, Ayahuasca and Cam Tizzle are the 2 quickest drivers out of the top 4 right now, I would have to say. So Lancey into the pit lane, the first of the day to pit strategically, and of course he started soft. He's going to go from soft to hard in just a couple of seconds there. He will be falling back a couple of positions now. He'll be behind the trio of Capitan, Reimer, and Valentine, and I think maybe the Alpine of JC as well. Yes, he has. So Lancey drops to 14th in that exchange, and with a lot of competitive cars around him. Ayahuasca, meanwhile, has eclipsed already almost 1.3 seconds the gap between himself and Granny as they go down Sands Avenue. Granny is in a very difficult position because Cam Tizzle and DWCJ are both going to have DRS behind him. Yeah, that is just not really the position Granny wants to be in. I will say, DWCJ is not exactly competitive in this battle for the time being. 6.5 tenths. Although I say that, Cam Tizzle's actually lost a bit of time there through Treasure Island, and I now think DWCJ might be in the hot seat now. Let's see. Can he find his way around Cam Tizzle? DRS activated under the bridge, and he does use it, as well as Cam Tizzle up to Granny ahead. Cam Tizzle's going to kind of park that car, not necessarily in the middle, but in the middle of the acceptable line to that corner, and everything stays the same for now. But Jacob has been overtaken by Gab to the inside, is now Taylor McKenzie looking for this one as well in the Haas. To the outside he goes. He's got one. Can he find Gab as well? No, not quite. As Reimer will get round up El Capitan, but the 3 out of the top 4 have decided to stop. Granny, Cam Tizzle, and DWCJ have all come in now. We've got ourselves a real strategical display, because Ayahuasca's gone for the overcut. Of course, he started on the hards, so he should be good for at least another 5 laps, I would say. But all these fellas on the medium tires, with 15 laps to go, are stopping. As Taylor McKenzie and Gab are side by side going down Koval Lane. Oh, look at this. The Williams to the inside of Jacob. He's going to look to get both of them, and I think he will. DRS activated for the Williams and up to third. What a move from Jacob. As behind, Taylor McKenzie looks to the inside of Gab. Still side by side as they make their way to the sphere corners. Look at this. Brilliant racing between the two. Still wheel to wheel as they make their way through. Oh, Taylor McKenzie's going to have to go a little bit wide there. I think he's got damage on the front as well. Yeah, he's missing the end plate on the left front. So Ayahuasca, Jacob, Gab, and Taylor McKenzie, 4 out of the top 5 still have yet to stop. Reimer, Valentine, Capitan, and JC are the only other drivers on track who have yet to find the pit lane, but I have a feeling that's going to happen sooner rather than later. You're just not going to find an overcut unless you've got DRS to a car ahead of you. Ayahuasca's got 18-second gap. Back to Granny, and Granny, now that he's on fresh tires, may start to close in, but the problem is that nobody has DRS in this exchange. Gab's going to get down to the inside of Taylor McKenzie. Cam Tizzle's going to look for it on DWCJ or vice versa. They're going to zipper merge back into line as they go down Harmon Avenue towards Topgolf, and I have a feeling we're going to see a couple of these guys pit now. And I say a couple, pretty much all of them, except for DWCJ, and except for the Haas then of Cam Tizzle, DWCJ, and Reimer. So the 2 McLarens now back in position. Reimer, who also started on the hards, mind you. This is an interesting position for him because realistically, we have a yellow flag going through Planet Hollywood, and I believe that is the Sauber of Charlie Gulf, is gone into the runoff and is missing a bit of the front wing. Front wing being replaced from Capitan, and I believe that's going to sort itself out there. DWCJ getting around Cam Tizzle as we just look at who has yet to stop still. Ayahuasca, Reimer, Valentine, and JC. The only 4 yet to stop. And I believe the only 4... Well, JC's in now. Valentine, who started on the mediums. Reimer and Ayahuasca, who started on the hards. The only other 3 drivers yet to stop here. As Valentine, I think, actually still pulling some halfway decent laps on his medium tires. It's going to be an interesting one here because as Cam Tizzle has DRS to the McLaren of DWCJ ahead of him, Reimer is not really going to get a great opportunity to try to overtake the Haas. Well, I'm allowed to be wrong, aren't I? Reimer's gotten a hell of an exit out of Treasure Island. He's going to get both the McLaren, his teammate DWCJ, and the Haas of Cam Tizzle, and up to third. Just want to point this out. Since we were last talking about Granny up to Ayahuasca, he has since gained about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, as we do have a yellow flag going through Sands Avenue. Capitan has gone off somewhere along the line. It seems to have not been a very serious incident because the track is still green. 0.2 seconds between DWCJ and Cam Tizzle. Valentine enters the pit lane now. I think he will be dropping at least back to probably Frenchie in that 14th spot. DWCJ nearly hits the wall on the way out. Ayahuasca has a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. He's gone off at the sphere. As Cam Tizzle looks for the inside of Reimer going through turn 5, as we have the Sauber off again. I believe, well, it's definitely one of them, as Cam Tizzle around the outside of Reimer, looking through the sphere corner. Cam Tizzle trying to outbrake Reimer here. It's not really happened, has it? No, they're still side by side. As they look to go down Sands Avenue, was Cam Tizzle missing... I don't remember if we've already talked about this or not. Cam Tizzle missing wing on the left side, but still wheel to wheel now as DWCJ looks on. He'll have to file behind his teammate. So we were talking about Ayahuasca is that when this round of pit stops happened, Granny had about 18 some odd seconds behind Ayahuasca. Ayahuasca has lost about 2 seconds and has now picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. This has not gone well for Ayahuasca. He's missed the corner at the sphere. And that's really put him in a world of hurt, hasn't it? Has to be said. Oh, well, DWCJ has gotten into Reimer. Reimer into the back of Cam Tizzle. Whoa, I tell you what. Bit of conundrum there between the 2 McLarens as King Pro Player is going to be the beneficiary out of all this, as he has at least gotten around DWCJ. Ayahuasca into the pit lane. Now finds himself 2 seconds behind. DWCJ to the inside of King Pro Player through turn 1. It's not quite going to happen yet. Still side by side. DWCJ is going to have the outside now as they go down Koval Lane. Both of them, I believe, will be having DRS. Wheel to wheel they go, as DWCJ will file ahead of King Pro. Ayahuasca on the medium tires. 2.5 seconds behind Granny, a net 5.5. Yeah, this has really not gone well for Ayahuasca, although what I will say is that Cam Tizzle is not exactly gaining any time to him, so it looks as if the top two seems as if they're going to be themselves. Reimer still has yet to pit. He's the last car on track who has not stopped for the time being as well. He will lose a good couple of positions here. He'll probably find himself down to about 8th. With Reimer starting at the back of the grid, falling to 8th is probably not a terrible result, but it appears that his winning streak, at least with 10 laps to go in 2 laps' time, probably will be over. And to the outside, Reimer goes on Cam Tizzle, and I will say that that McLaren's still looking pretty good on those 14-lap-old hard tires. I'm wondering when Reimer is actually going to decide to stop. Is he going to try to stay out as long as he can for the softs? That'd actually be a pretty valid strategy, Thad. I don't really know if that will be his decision. Cam Tizzle to the inside. Remember, no DRS on the pit straight here. One of only a couple of tracks on schedule that feature that. Silverstone and Abu Dhabi are the other two. Taylor McKenzie now, 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Our 4th time penalty of the day. As heading into the sphere they go, it does appear Reimer still at least leads Cam Tizzle by 2.5 of a second. Ayahuasca has gained about half a second to 0.7 on Granny since exiting the pit lane. Ayahuasca, on his new medium tire, seems to be doing quite all right, at least for the time being. Exiting Treasure Island and down the strip they go. So we got about 5-6 cars here within DRS range of each other. Starts with Reimer, Cam Tizzle, DWCJ, King Pro Player, Lancey, who's actually going to lose DRS here, and Anime Boy, as Cam Tizzle gets to the inside of Reimer up to the 3rd spot, as Anime Boy is going to set Lancey aside as well. At least for the time being. Let's see if the Dutchman can find a clean overtake here. Yeah, not quite. I don't think it's going to quite happen now. DWCJ to the inside of Reimer. As we got a yellow flag to Sauber. Oh, I tell you what, they're all lucky ghosting's on. Code Brown moments potentially. Even if ghosting is on, still Code Brown moments to come around a blind corner like that and see a car bright green, albeit perpendicular across the circuit, is DWCJ. That car nearly had a lot of gremlins coming out of that acceleration point, exiting that 2nd corner. He has actually gotten around Cam Tizzle up to 3rd. This has allowed King Pro Player into the mix as well for this final podium position. Of course, they are still losing time to the top two. 10 laps to go here in Las Vegas. Seems a rather short race, this. Of course, mind you, it's only 25 laps. Despite that, these cars are running 90-second lap times. Three and a half tenths of a second. We have a yellow flag as Gazboy has retired. That is on track, exiting turn 3 and 4th, the Rochelle Avenue intersection right before Koval Lane. There's the car over there. That has brought out a safety car with 10 laps to go. Very odd part of the track to lose the car like that. He is very much stranded in the barriers exiting the corner. That has brought a whole new level of intricacy to this race. You'd have to believe it's going to be soft tires for the lot now. Mediums for Granny. DWCJ, a tenner for speeding in the pit lane. That's awful. Ayahuasca Mediums as well. It'll be softs for the one McLaren. Reimer is going to get cucked by the double stack here. It will be mediums for him as well, but he'll be losing some positions. As well to Anime Boy. Yikes. Rough one there for Reimer. Lost a good 2 or 3 positions exiting the pit lane now. Let's look at the tire strategies on hand. So, DWCJ and Anime Boy, the only two have gone soft. But I believe we do have Gab and Jacob now on both fresh softs as well. Most of them choosing mediums, though. That's a little bold, has to be said. I think... It's interesting, because Lancey only went about 7 laps on his stint when he started the race on the soft tires. We are within 10 laps to go. Let's be real, though. That is really... I mean, if you're Ayahuasca and DWCJ here, this has hurt you more than anything. Because you now have to find a way around Grant. Of course, we're going to lose at least another lap onto the safety car here. We're going to get back racing at probably lap 19 out of 25. 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll have 7 laps to go of racing. Those guys in the soft tires are going to be able to at least, I think, camp a little bit while we're under safety car here. Thankfully, this isn't... Oh, as Gatillo's picked up a tenner for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but... At least if you're on the soft tires now, the biggest problem for you is being able to keep temperature in those tires. Of course, this track is mostly straights. After all, not really a lot of corners whatsoever to be scrubbing heat. The sphere corner, really, that's it. Maybe those first 2 is... Reimer is also a tenner for ignoring yellow flags, trying to catch back up to the queue. I think is the case there. I don't really know. That is awful. I don't know. As Gatillo has retired, that is off in the boonies, exiting the final corner. You can see he's way out there. Has he done that the hard way, or is he retired via the menu? I don't know. Either way. Down to 18. Down to 17. We started with 19. Then a slightly tame Grand Prix as far as incidents are concerned. You think that with the... barriers being up along the circuit as they are. Of course, it is a street circuit, but only really one, I would say, true danger point on this track. This is turn 5. I would think here, realistically, is where you're going to see most contact be made if anybody does try it into that corner. It's like turn 8 at Singapore. You got that left-hander, turn 7 after the first DRS section. Then the right-hander, turn 8, where you think there's enough room to go for the inside, and there's not, because if you overshoot by even the slightest margins, it pushes the other car into the outside barrier. That's kind of what that corner reminds me of. I mean, in towards here, turn 12 at Treasure Island, you're really not going to find too many incidents here. If anything, it's going to be more or less the outside bit just there. Even then, you're not going to find many overtakes into that corner. Plenty of Hollywood corners there, 14, 15, 16. I mean, if anything, you're going to find it at the transition between 14 and 15, or 16, exiting it, where the wall is on the inside. We'll take you through what I mean here in a second, as we do have Charlie Golf and Frenchie actually catching back up to the grid here. Maybe could we get the safety car in this time by? It would be a bit of a late decision, but I mean, maybe to the outside wall there, and then to the inside here. Really the only 2 other places on track where I think danger really looms. Track is quite wide as well, and the safety car has decided to come in this time. Although, the safety car has missed the pit lane. The safety car has missed the pit lane. It is still out on track. Safety car says in this lap, it has missed the entry to the pit lane. This is going to be conundrum here, guys. No, we are still under safety car. It is still out on track. Oh, no, this is going to be rancid. Hang on just a minute. Yeah, and I think Granny's realized this. He's backed off. No, Lancey's got a 10er for ignoring yellow flags. This is absolute chaos. The safety car is still on track. It's trying to outdrive the grid here as JC's got a 10er as well. Valentine as well. My goodness, it's all kicking off now. Reimer is now up to, 20 seconds in penalty. By the way, guys, this is not the first time I've seen this happen. I think the first time I saw this happen was on last game. In Jag Sunday, I believe we had this same thing. The safety car stayed out a lap extra. It's tried to make a late decision exiting Planet Hollywood, and it's missed the entry of the pit lane. It is only now trying to drive its way away. I think some of these guys are going to be able to appeal to the stewards and get that 10-second penalty taken off. As we've got 6 guys who have picked up 10ers after that. So we'll get back to green flag racing here on lap 20. Left 6 laps to go of racing when we get back round to the pit straight. But, I mean, what a total conundrum this has been as the safety car misses the entry to pit lane. Totally odd. And let's see, hopefully the safety car remembers where it's supposed to be parked in this time, and I think it has found the entry to the pit lane. That means, though, Granny now has, from here in towards Planet Hollywood Corner, this left-hander, all the way down Harmon Avenue to decide when to go. He could go now and have them file out oddly going through, and he's not done that. He is going to wait just a slight bit longer. Down Harmon Avenue they go. 6 laps to go at the line. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and well, honestly, there's not that good of an idea. King Pro player into the pit lane. What is this? As he picked up wing damage under that safety car fiasco, and I believe that he has. Yeah, it's a front wing being changed. He's lost the end plate on the left side. That's a bit rich. I think he probably should have stayed out there with only 6 laps to go. You're not going to get it back now. Heading down Koval Lane they go. Granny does have 10 seconds on Ayahuasca. Sorry, 10 seconds. He's got 3 seconds on Ayahuasca with the penalty. Ayahuasca's got 6 seconds to get around Granny and then, put an additional 3 seconds on him. That's a lot of work in 6 laps. I mean, that's passing him and then stacking on realistically half a second a lap. And when you have as much DRS on this circuit as you do, it really just won't happen unless Granny would make a mistake if he does get overtaken. As down the strip they go, and I tell you what, it becomes interesting now, because I think we were shaping up to have a very good, kind of battle to the finish here between a couple of these guys. Now, I couldn't tell you who's going to finish where. These final results are really going to mean absolutely nothing unless Granny walks away with the win. As DWCJ is going to get down the inside of Ayahuasca, and Reimer's going to get around Anime Boy as well. Say the only thing that we are going to be truthfully aware of is that if Granny wins the race, that he's going to win the race, although I think DWCJ can get the 10er taken off. Reimer can get at least the second 10er taken off. I don't know about the first one. Lancey can get his. JC, Gavin, Valentine can all get their 10-second penalties taken off. Reimer will still, I think, be 10 seconds with the penalty. As Ayahuasca is going to have a look at DWCJ there to no avail. 5 laps to go. In towards the sphere corners now. We'll check with them in a little bit. Taylor McKenzie's within a 10th and a half, 2 tenths of Slayer Eyes here going through the sphere. Heading down Sands Avenue now and heading in towards Treasure Island, turn 12, and down the strip again. Ayahuasca's chances of winning this Grand Prix are fading significantly now. He'll have 4 laps to get around Granny and put 3 seconds of delta behind him. That's a lot to do in 4 laps. It was a lot to do in 6 laps, never mind 4. Anime Boy and Cam Tizzle battling it out now. Potentially, could we find a move in towards turns... Planet Hollywood? No, not quite going to happen. Ayahuasca, now up to 6 seconds in penalty. After having cut the corner going through Planet Hollywood, turn 14. That has pretty much sealed the deal now. That Granny could probably walk away with this win. Next time by will be 3 laps to go. What's been a slightly chaotic, but still nevertheless entertaining Grand Prix. King Pro player now, fastest lap. Hey, just a reminder, look at the next couple of races. We do head to Qatar next time out. Round number 6. Abu Dhabi for round 9. And the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria for round 8. After that, we are on Christmas break until Silverstone, January the 6th. Ah, gee, my birthday's on a Monday this year? That's awful. Anyway, not the point. Those next 3 races do look very good. I tell you what, that Qatar track is so fun. Doesn't always provide the best racing, but goodness me, is it so fun to drive on. Ayahuasca is going to look for the right side of DWCJ. Abu Dhabi with the edits that they have done to the circuit have been so good. And Austria, always fun. Well, 3 laps to go at the line. Reimer is now up to the 3rd spot. Has actually gotten around DWCJ as well. Anime Boy and Cam Tizzle we'll have a quick spat here going down Harmon Avenue through Top Golf, and Cam Tizzle's going to choose the inside and up to 5th. Behind we do also have Jacob and Taylor McKenzie and Slayerized in a good battle here. DRS is going to be interesting here. JC Auto Labs kind of in this picture as well. Down Koval Lane they go. Well, a bit of a slide there for JC. Not really any sort of advantage for any of the guys so far. That braking zone into that first bit of the sphere corner, it's very difficult. You got to take on an angle going in towards the wall. Granny's got a second 1 point. Yeah, well, it's actually lost it there. I tell you what, Ayahuasca's going to be within DRS range this time. Heading down the strip. Oh, is he going to be able to stay within DRS? It's going to be right close to this, but he has DRS activated for Ayahuasca. That'll keep him ahead of Reimer for the time being. Remember, I would not look at any other position on track right now other than that top spot held by Granny. That is the only one I think that is going to be accurately in its correct position. Everyone else, yeah, I don't know. Tough to sell. 2 laps to go. Jacob following in Taylor McKenzie. A little bit of contact there. Heading into that first corner. Let's see. Yeah, not quite going to have it for the time being. Well, Charlie Gulf has gotten around JC Auto Labs there as Reimer is going to get round Ayahuasca. Going down Koval Lane as Cam Tizzle's going to get DWCJ as well. Get a yellow flag. Oh, Ferrari of Capitan has gone round as well as JC Auto Labs. Couple of cars. Bit of a shunt then as Capitan into the runoff area. Probably 2 trying to go into 1 there. Again, that was that corner that we kind of expected something to happen at. Of course, it's not really too meaningful is the wrong word. That puts it slightly rudely, but it's not too race-changing. Granny's going to lead them down the strip for the penultimate time and up Harmon Avenue for the penultimate time as well. 1 lap to go. DWCJ getting around Cam Tizzle. That one is actually a pretty crucial position because realistically, that could be for that second or third spot after penalties are wiped. And we're going to go ahead and assume as well DWCJ, Lancey, Gab, Valentine, and JC, potentially even Reimer, can get their 10-second penalties for that last safety car. Probably get them taken off. Reimer will have the 10er from the first one. Whether or not he can get that taken off as well. So we got a genuine couple of battles here on track. I think the battle at hand, DWCJ, Cam Tizzle, and potentially Lancey as well, for what would be probably that second or third spot. Bit of a slide there for DWCJ. Granny leads Reimer by 4.5 tenths. Cam Tizzle to the back end of DWCJ now. Ayahuasca trying to reel in Reimer in the process. Granny heading in towards Planet Hollywood. Which one is this? Treasure Island, turn 12. Capitan now, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. That puts him at 6. Granny leads them down the strip now. Yellow flag towards the back. Oh, that's a bit of a stack up there. Who's that? Oh, it's Anime Boy that's gone around. That's unfortunate. Reimer's going to look to the inside on Granny. Still think that Reimer's not going to be able to get all 20 of his seconds of penalty taken off. Granny is going to have a look here around the outside. Granny looks as if he's going to get it back anyways. And Granny, the Aston Martin, comes to the line and wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Reimer is the only driver to have not really... Granny's the only driver really to have not been caught out there by the safety cars. Ayahuasca is missing the entirety of his front wing. When did that happen? Again, I would not look at any of the other results here, because we do not know what drivers will end up where. Granny deserves the top spot and has it. Everyone else is up for debate. Well, anyway, it's been a pleasure joining you once again here in the Monkey Mafia Esports League. Be sure to join us next time out when we head to the Losail Circuit in Qatar. Congratulations to your winner today, Granny. We'll see you next time.